Hey, what's up guys? Thanks for stopping by and welcome back. Today we're talking about Dragon Ball Super Chapter 69. A very stuffed chapter full of awkward exposition indeed, but more universe building slash exploration, which I very much appreciated. So this first section of the chapter I didn't really like at first because I thought it was like too casual and kind of meandering, with Granolah just going shopping, and like I felt like it was partially just kind of a waste of time. I think there was a lot of dialogue that was just kind of needless and it did kind of waste time, but I think it is interesting seeing one of these characters in Dragon Ball just doing his normal everyday stuff. He's going, he's coming back from his job and getting groceries, and then he's going up to the mountain to see his grandpa. Does that remind you of anybody? Like Goku and his grandpa living in the mountains? So I think that's an interesting little dynamic and connection between Granolah and Goku, and we'll get a connection between Granolah and Vegeta a little bit later in this chapter. But I didn't think it was necessary exactly to explain why Granolah lives in the mountains, but I do think it's interesting that is my daughter in the background ruining my video, that he lives in the mountains because he doesn't feel like he belongs with these people, and I think that's going to be his overall arc in accepting that the past has happened, and the past it stays in the past, and that ties into the themes in this overall arc in general. So he doesn't feel like he belongs with them, and he lives on the mountains so that he can see the ruins of his people as a reminder. But I think he's going to realize later on that seeing that by constantly being reminded of that hate he feels is really what's dragging him down. So at first I didn't really like it, but it's growing on me. I think it's some interesting stuff and also adds to the potential. And also, in the past, the Heaters apparently sold this planet to the cereal people. Get it? The planet is called, not cereal people, but the planet is called Cereal, basically, and these are the sugar people, the Sugarians. The puns are getting a little bit lazy here, but it's really interesting that that long ago that these sugar people, who seem to be really good people who were uprooted from their home planets, found this planet to call home after it was ruined by the cereal, or from the cereals by the Saiyans. Now we cut back as the dynamic shifts, setting up those themes with Granolah. Now we go to Vegeta and we establish a connection between them, and I think the storytelling here is on point. It's just that the dialogue in general and the abundance of dialogue is a little bit awkward for me. So Beerus just randomly starts talking about how Vegeta feels bad about what the Saiyans do and how that's basically holding him back. And I thought that was interesting because Vegeta is always like a Saiyan warrior's pride and everything like that. But at the same time, it seems that, especially considering the last arc with his conversation with Moro, and how he still kind of sees himself as a villain, and that kind of ties into it in the respect that Beerus says that Vegeta thinking this way is holding him back. He's not really willing to accept that happened in the past, but it's in the past. There's nothing he can really do about it now, except maybe get the Super Dragon Balls and wish everything better, and we'll talk about that a little bit later. But thematically, with Vegeta, holding on to the past and the shame of the Saiyans, and in turn keeping it as his own shame, is really a really interesting concept, and is opening the door for Vegeta to develop more as a character, which is really cool, and I'm looking forward to seeing where that goes. But one thing I thought was really weird is that during this whole thing, Beerus destroys a decoration planet, and Goku and Vegeta are like super shocked and impressed by this, and Beerus is like, that's but a small fraction of what I can do. And I'm like, Goku and Vegeta have been able to do that for, 20 years now? Probably since the Frieza saga? That is not something to be impressed by. But what's even more interesting is that for some reason, probably just to egg Vegeta on, Beerus reveals that he is the one that suggested that Frieza destroy planet Vegeta, which I thought was really interesting, and I never liked that idea of Beerus being involved in the Saiyan's destruction whatsoever. But I am glad that he says the word suggested instead of like ordered, you know what I'm saying? So that clarifies that a little bit in case some people weren't clear. Because I'm sure many people thought that Beerus ordered Frieza to do it, and that's why Frieza did it. So Vegeta gets all pissed off, fights Beerus, and this is when we are shown that Beerus is still far above Vegeta. Who knows about Mastered Ultra Instinct Goku? But despite evidence of the contrary, Vegeta and Goku should, at Super Saiyan Blue level, especially Super Saiyan Blue Evolution level, they should be getting at least close to Beerus level, But I guess not. I guess we will just know when we actually see it and when it is actually confirmed for 100%. So Beerus destroys part of Vegeta's thing, and like I said, you are still hanging on. Beerus explains that Vegeta is still hanging on to the past and hanging on to the shame of the Saiyans. But what he needs to do is let go of all of that, stop letting that drag him down. Vegeta always uses his pride and, his pride as a Saiyan to push himself farther. But this technique that Beerus is going to use, they seem to be hinting that it's going to be the destruction technique, but with this whole thematic element and what Beerus is trying to teach Vegeta, it seems that the technique of the gods of destruction is more of a mental technique, to be kind of apathetic, I suppose, to not let your own feelings drag you down, feelings of the past. You need to live in the present, and you need to do what needs to be done without, feeling bad about it, or without worrying that you're going to cause more trouble, Because I feel like this is also harkening back to the Majin Buu saga, where Vegeta did, let Babidi take him over with the Majin symbol, and he was all bad, and he thought that his good nature that he was developing was holding him back, but in fact it's the contrary, but he's still holding on to the guilt, and that guilt is what's holding him back. So maybe it's some sort of mental technique, or maybe it's just the destruction technique. But moving on. The Heaters have begun examining OG-73's memory banks and learn of the Dragon Balls. But before we can really get into that, we go back to Planet Cereal, and we go to the Namekian and Granolah. That's right, Granolah basically has a Namekian grandpa, and guess what? He has a Dragon Ball. That's right, there is another set of Dragon Balls. So now we have the Earth's Dragon Balls, Namekian Dragon Balls, Super Dragon Balls, if you want to count GT, the Black Star Dragon Balls, and now you have these Dragon Balls, which are a set of 2. So at first I really didn't like this because it's just an overabundance of different Dragon Balls. Like, how many other Dragon Balls are there out there? And apparently, and we get to this in a second, but they have a little conversation, and Granolah's like, Frieza's back, I need more power, I should use those Dragon Balls, and the Namekian dude's like, no, you shouldn't use those for that. And I'm thinking, why? I'm sure they've had this conversation before, right? Like, Granolah has thought about using this before. Why didn't he try it, like, more than 20 years ago? Scour the whole planet for the other Dragon Ball, or do what Bulma did. Like, he seems to have somewhat advanced technology with Oatmeal here. Maybe he can build a Dragon Radar, but I guess Bulma's the only one in the entire universe who is able to do that. So I don't know, it adds some, but at the same time it kind of takes away from how special the Earth's Dragon Ball is, Dragon Balls are. But I thought it was kind of funny that during this conversation, by happenstance, Mori is just expositing about the Namekians not being from this universe. So where are they from? Are they from a different universe? So that's kind of weird. Like, have we completely thrown out the idea that Universe 6 and 7 are twins? Maybe Universe 7 spawned from people from Universe 6, like migrating over to Universe 7 or something crazy like that. So Mori basically says there could be other sets of Dragon Balls out there. So now I'm wondering, is this old Grandpa Namekian the only other one in the universe to have created Dragon Balls? It's reminding me of the random hyperbolic time chamber in the Moro arc that Goku and Beerus trained in. There was no other explanation for that. It was just randomly there. And now we have this random Namekian who has created 2 Dragon Balls and can summon a dragon and grant a wish. So it's very random, very happenstance, and very convenient for all this to be happening right now. Including later on when Grandpa Namek, I'm going to call him Grandpa Namek. So Granolah's just lounging there watching TV when some sugar person randomly finds the other Dragon Ball that they need. Now, this set has 2 Dragon Balls. Every other set that we know of has 7 balls, but now this one, randomly 2. So I thought that was weird, but it's kind of neat at the same time. I don't have a final thought on it. At first, I really didn't like it, but it's growing on me, just like a lot of the ideas in here. So Granolah disguises himself and goes to steal it, and he summons the dragon. This part I thought was really cool. I really like the design of this dragon, and he wishes to be the greatest warrior in the universe. I'm thinking that this dragon cannot grant that wish. A lot of people are not happy with this, and if this is how he becomes the strongest in the universe, like Oracle Fish prophesized, I would not like that at all. But Oracle Fish didn't really specify who was going to be the strongest in the universe. It's heavily implied that it's Granolah, and it seems pretty obvious, but I think the door is open for that strongest in the universe to become somebody else. So I guess we'll have to see. I think that this dragon will not be able to grant that wish, considering that there's only 2 balls, and I don't know. For some reason, I feel like this dragon doesn't have as much power as, say, Shenron or Purunga. So there is one way to make him the greatest warrior in the universe, and that is to make everybody else in the universe weaker. So I wonder if this dragon can actually do that. So I don't know. Interesting stuff. What do you guys think? Drop your thought waves down in the comments below. Overall, the chapter was okay. While reading it, I wasn't really having fun, but during the day thinking about it, I thought, yeah, I mean, it's okay. It's some neat concepts and everything, but yeah, just okay. Thanks for watching and take it easy.